The year is 1941. Deep inside a Japanese shipyard, a monster of steel is born. Her name is Yamato, the largest battleship the world will ever see. 50,000 tons of pride, built to rule the Pacific. But what if Japan had made a different choice? What if that steel, that fuel, that manpower had been turned into something far deadlier? The answer could have changed everything. It's 1941. Japan's situation grows desperate. The Yamato stands almost finished, a giant that has consumed a staggering amount of resources. Almost 50,000 tons of steel went into her. To picture that, imagine a Japanese truck in 1941 carrying 4 tons of steel. That would be a 500-mile-long convoy of trucks, all loaded with metal. What if Japan had decided to stop Yamato's construction and use her materials for something else? What if all that metal, fuel, and manpower were turned into what Japan truly needed? Guns, shells, and ammunition. The numbers are shocking. The impact on American forces would have been devastating. It wouldn't have changed the final outcome, but it could have made the Pacific campaign far bloodier. Let's start with tanks. What if Japan had used all that steel to build them? The Type 97 Chiha tank weighed 15 tons. With the Yamato's steel, Japan could have built around 5,000 of them. The problem? Japanese tanks were terrible. Their armor was so thin that American .50 caliber machine guns could punch straight through. At Saipan, entire Japanese tank formations were destroyed in minutes. They would have been useful in World War I, but in World War II, they would have changed nothing. To defend the islands they had captured, Japan didn't need armor. It needed firepower. Machine guns, artillery, ammunition, and anti-aircraft guns. Weapons that could turn every Pacific island into a fortress of death. So, how about artillery? The most common gun the Japanese used for island defense was the Type 94 mountain gun, a 75mm cannon with a range of about 5 miles. Perfect for island warfare. Japan produced around 4,000 of them during the war. To make one Type 94, you needed roughly 1 ton of steel. With Yamato's steel, Japan could have built nearly 80,000 of them and produced about 2 million artillery shells to supply these guns. Imagine American Marines landing on beaches under constant bombardment. Shells exploding across every landing zone. No safe areas. No pauses to regroup. Every wave meeting walls of fire. That alone would have made a massive difference. Now, let's move to heavy machine guns. The most widely used model in the Japanese Army was the Type 92 heavy machine gun. Japan produced around 40,000 during the entire war. With Yamato's steel, they could have built an additional 1 million heavy machine guns, plus 400 million rounds of ammunition if they reprocessed the powder from Yamato's shells. Imagine American soldiers storming beaches, facing 20 times more machine guns. The beach wouldn't just take fire, it would become impassable. Water boiling from impacts. Tracers forming solid walls of light. No gaps, no mercy, no silence, just endless suppressive fire. Every Marine forced to crawl, pinned beneath a storm of bullets. Now picture the everyday Japanese frontline soldier. Most had only about 100 rifle rounds and 2 to 4 hand grenades. They often ran out of ammunition within hours. With Yamato's steel and powder, each soldier could have been supplied with 2,000 extra rifle rounds, 25 grenades, and 5 personal mines. On top of that, 50 kilograms of steel per soldier could have gone into building reinforced defensive positions, bunkers, trenches, and barriers. Instead of desperate banzai charges caused by empty magazines, Japanese soldiers could have fired for days from strongholds. Every defensive position could fight until destroyed. Yamato stored 6,300 tons of fuel. That single battleship could have powered 30 bulldozers on every major Pacific island for 50 days straight. Building bunkers, artillery caves, pillboxes, tank traps, and beach obstacles. Instead, that fuel sat idle in harbor, while soldiers dug with shovels. The crew of 2,700 men could have been reassigned, manning submarines, destroyer escorts, or anti-submarine patrols protecting vital convoys. Altogether, scrapping Yamato could have created thousands of artillery pieces, tens of thousands of machine guns, and hundreds of millions of bullets. Japanese defenders waiting for the Americans with 20 times more guns and ammunition. The consequences would have been devastating. Tarawa would last weeks instead of days, with tens of thousands of American casualties instead of 3,000. Iwo Jima would drag on for months. Public pressure in America would rise. Casualty estimates for invading Japan might climb from 1 million to several million. Would it have changed the final outcome? No. America's industry was too vast, its resources too deep, and the atomic bomb was already under construction. Japan would still fall. But the path to victory would have been far more terrible. Every soldier facing defenders who never ran out of bullets. Every landing becoming a slaughter. This is the cost of pride, trading thousands of practical weapons for one floating monument that fired its guns only once before dying in 2 hours. The Yamato was not just a ship. It was Japan's dream. A dream paid for with steel, blood, and the lives of soldiers forced to fight with scraps.